students, so in this part I am going to discuss you about conduction in metals, how the conduction in metal takes place. I will be also discussing you about the conduction in semiconductor. Apart from this, we will be discussing about diffusion current. What is diffusion current for any semiconductor devices and what is the reason behind it. So let's start. Okay, so now let's see the conduction in metals. How the conduction takes place in metals. So if an electric field is applied to a metal, then due to electrostatic force, the electrons gets accelerated and the velocity would increase indefinitely. As we know that if we talk about the metals, metals are basically conductors, right? So we have seen that even at the room temperature they have the free electrons in excess, and we have already seen in the energy band diagram that the valence band and the valence band and the conduction band overlaps, right? So they have more number of electrons for the conduction. Okay, and whenever we apply an electrostatic force, their velocity would increase indefinitely. But due to the collisions, with ions, the electrons loses the energy and attains a finite velocity called drift velocity. See, so due to this collision, right? So they attains a finite velocity, and this velocity is called as the drift velocity. Please remember, drift velocity is always come whenever we talk about an electrostatic force. Whenever we apply electrostatic force, and due to that the velocity which electron attains, right, that velocity is called as the drift velocity. Okay, so now let's suppose E is the strength of applied electric field. So we are denoting the applied electric field by capital E. Capital F, the force experienced by the electrons due to applied field. So let this capital F be the force experience. So whenever we will apply an external field, right, so there will be a force. Force will be applied on the electrons, due to which they will move in the crystal structure, right? So they will start moving because of the electric field. Let A be the acceleration. So whenever there will be movement, so there will be an acceleration, right? So they will accelerate with an acceleration A. T is the time between the collision. So we know that there are more number of electrons in the conduction band for an metals. So they will whenever they will be moving in a metal, so there will be the collision between the different free electrons. So the time, so average time, the interval between the two collisions is, we represent it by a small t. Let this small v be the drift velocity, okay, which they attains. Let q be the charge of an electron, okay, this is a constant we know, so it's a charge of an electron, and let m be the mass of an electron. Okay, now let's see, actually we are deriving the electric current, okay, in a conductor. So consider a piece of conductor. So let us consider a piece of conductor in which electrons are uniformly distributed. So the distribution of a charge carriers are uniform throughout the conductor, right? Let n be the number of free electrons distributed in the conductor. So we know that there are free electrons, more number of free electrons in the conductor, okay, or the number of electrons which are in the conduction band are basically the free electrons. So let the number be n, capital N. Let capital L be the length of conductor. Capital A be the cross-sectional area of the conductor. So let capital A be the cross-sectional area of that conductor. And L is the length, right? So average velocity of an electrons. So what will be the average velocity? So we know that average velocity is basically a distance upon time. And distance basically here is the length of an conductor. So the length of conductor divided by time. So time is basically a time taken by an electron, right, through the distance, that distance L. So time taken by an electron to cover a distance of L, right, this is called as an average velocity. the number of electrons passing through any area per second. So let's suppose we are finding out the number of electrons passing through any area per second. So in 1 second, how many numbers of electrons will be passing through any cross sectional area? That will be n by t. So their number of electrons are n, and there will be, so the number of, and they are passing in a time t, right? So the number of electrons passing per second will be n by t, right? So the total charge passing through any area per second. So now we want total charge, right? So total charge will be, so this is n by t. So see, in the last slide we see that n by t is the number of electrons passing through any area, right? Any area per second. So total number of charge will be, so in that equation it was n by t. So total charge, so we want the total charge. What is the total amount of charge? So that will be going to multiply by the we will multiply by q, that is the charge on a single electron. So charge on a single electron multiplied by the number of that charges passing through any area per second. So this will be q into n by t. Now let us divide by L and multiply by L. So now here we can, so we know that the velocity is equal to length by time. So we can replace this L by t by v. So this will becomes q n into velocity by L, right? So this is a charge passing through any area per second, and this is nothing but the current. We know that the current is nothing but the charge per unit time. So this is basically current. Now what will be the current per unit area? That is, we are talking about the current density. That is current divided by area, that is a density, current density. That will be equal to current divided by area. So q and v by L into A, right? And we can represent this area into length by volume. So area into length will be equal to volume, and the number of electrons divided by volume. This will be basically in concentration of an electron per unit volume, right? This n by capital N by V will be small n, that is the concentration, electron concentration. So this basically J is equal to q and V, that is the current density will be equal to J and V, right? So J comes out to be equal to q and V, and we know that the drift velocity is basically equal to mobility into the electric field. So there is a relation between electric field and the drift velocity, and Vd is equals to, that is the drift velocity is equal to mu into E, right? So we can write in place of V as mu into D. Now this, so J will becomes q and into mu into E, right? So we can represent this q and into mu by a symbol called rho, and then this J will become rho into E, and there this rho will be called as a conductivity of an metal. So this rho is basically defined by a term called conductivity of an metal, and this is rho is equal to nq mu, right? So this conductivity is equals to nq mu. Now the resistivity, we know that the resistivity is a reciprocal of the conductivity. So resistivity will be equal to 1 by conductivity, and is equal to 1 by nq mu, right? Nq mu. Okay, so this we have seen the conductivity or the resistivity for the conductor. Now let's see the conductivity in semiconductors. Fine. So we know that the since we know that the current density is equals to rho into E, and rho is equals to nq mu into E. So n is the concentration gradient, q is a charge, and mu is a mobility, right? So but if we see here, right, so q into p, so if we talk about the p type semiconductor, so the concentration will be equal to the whole concentration, that is the p, okay, and mobility will be due to the holes, that is the whole mobility. So this will becomes q into p into mu p into E, okay. And if you talk about the electron current density, So since electrons will flow in the opposite direction, so there will be a minus sign here. Similarly, there will be an electric field in the opposite direction. So the current density for the n-type semiconductor will be minus Q, and N is basically an electron density. Sorry, electron concentration, right? Electron concentration. Mu n is the mobility of electron, and E is the electric field. So total current density will be due to the both, that is due to the p type, that is the holes, and as well as the electrons, right? So any semiconductor, if we take, right, so the mobility is due to the electrons as well as the, or we can say the current is due to the electrons as well as the hole. So the total current density will be equal to hole current density and the electron current density, and that is equals to Qp mu p into E plus Q and mu n into E. So if we take this Q and E out of this bracket, so this will be P mu p plus N mu n, and this entire we can represent by rho. So we can say the rho will be equal to Q into N mu n plus P mu p. This is for the semiconductors, while for the conductors we were having the conductivity is equals to N Q mu. But for the semiconductor, since we are having two types of charge carriers, so there will be an conductivity due to electrons and conductivity due to holes. So this conductivity will be equal to Q into N mu n plus P mu p. Okay. So now let's see the conductivity for N and P type semiconductor, right? So let's see. So we know that for an intrinsic semiconductor, the intrinsic conductivity is equal to Q into N mu n plus P mu p, right? So now if we take only specifically the case of N-type semiconductor, so we know that in N-type semiconductor the number of electrons are much more as compared to holes, so we can neglect this term. So the conductivity, okay, in the N-type semiconductor will be only the majority will be due to the Q and mu n. Similarly, if we talk about the conductivity for the P-type semiconductor, so in this the holes are more in as compared to electrons, so the conductivity will be more or less equal to Qp mu p, right? So this we can see from here. So the conductivity for intrinsic, conductivity for N-type, and conductivity for the P-type semiconductor. Now let's talk about diffusion current. So we have seen the drift current, and the drift current was due to the applied external electrostatic force, right, or the field. Now what is diffusion current? So due to the thermal induction random motion, mobile particles tend to move from region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. I mean to say that let's suppose we are having let's suppose it is an N-type material, okay, and let's suppose if we apply a temperature here in this side, so there will be a more number of electrons produced this side as compared to the electrons on this side. So we can say that the number of electrons generated will be more on the just nearer on the side where we applied the external temperature, okay. So due to this the electron hole pairs are generated, and if we see this number of electrons generated on this side will be comparatively less. So we can say that there will be a gradient from, okay, so there will be a concentration gradient, and we can see that the number of electrons here will be more and they will decrease this side. So there is a concentration of an electron more on one side and less on the other side. So due to this concentration gradient, right, these electrons will start flowing, or the majority charge carriers will start flowing from the higher concentration region towards the lower concentration region. And due to this movement of charge carriers, there will be a flow of a current in the device, and that will be called as the diffusion current. Okay, so current flows due to the mobile charge diffusion, okay, and it is proportional to the carrier concentration gradient. See, this current will be proportional to the carrier concentration gradient. More is the gradient, concentration gradient. This means that the more is the slope, more will be the slope, more will be the flow of, I mean the more will be, or we can say the number of electrons passing, right, from the region of higher concentration to a lower concentration will be more in number, and thus the number of, I mean we can say that the current will be more for that this case, right. So the current flow majorly depends upon the carrier concentration gradient. Now so if we see the diffusion current within the semiconductor, so this is basically expressed as diffusion current is equals to minus q into dp and dp by dx. So this dp by dx is a concentration gradient, and this capital dp is basically a constant called diffusion constant. This is called as the diffusion constant. Okay, similarly this is for the p type, and for n types we see this is equal to q dn by dx. Just see why we have used this negative value here, because see this dp by dx, this slope is always negative, because this slope will be in the negative side, right. So this will always be a negative value, and but this whole current is always positive, therefore we are applying using extra negative sign here to make it as a positive. But for electron diffusion density we are not applying negative, because we know that the current due to the electron is in the opposite direction, so therefore the current density will also be in negative, right. So the total diffusion current density, okay, in the semiconductor will be due to both p type, I mean the electrons, as well as holes, and this will be equal to q common bracket dn by dx minus dp by dx. Okay, so the total, now if we talk about the total current flowing in a semiconductor, so that will be the due to the drift current as well as the diffusion current. Okay, so there will be so see, whenever you apply electric field, right, so there will be a flow of current due to the drift current, right. So there will be a current due to the drift component part, but there will also be a concentration gradient form, and due to that the diffusion current will also be flowing in the device. So we can say that the current in a device is due to drift as well as the diffusion, and the drift has again two parts, due to the holes as well as due to the electrons, and diffusion is also due to two parts, that is one due to holes and another due to the electrons, right. So the total diffusion current density will be expressed in this way, right. So P, so drift due to holes, drift due to electrons, diffusion due to holes, and diffusion due to electrons, right. So the characteristic constant for drift and diffusions are related by the Einstein relation. So there is an Einstein relation which relates this characteristics constant of drift and diffusion, and it says that the diffusion constant divided by mobility is equal to the kT by q, and this is basically an constant, right, where this k is an Boltzmann constant and T is in temperature. So for any particular temperature this will be a constant value, and this Q is a charge of an electron, right. So this Einstein relationship says that the D, that is diffusion current divided by mobility, is equals to kT by Q, and this value of kT by Q is nearly equal to 26 millivolt at a room temperature of 300 degree Kelvin. Okay, and this is often referred to as thermal voltage. So this kT by Q is referred to as thermal voltage and represented as Vt, right. So we can say that D by mu is equal to Vt, right. So now let's solve an example, okay, on this topic. So in a semiconductor, the concentration of electrons and holes are 8 into 10 raised to power 18 per meter cube and 5 into 10 raised to power 18 meter cube respectively. So we are given in a semiconductor the electron concentration and the hole concentration, right. If the mobilities of an electron and holes are 2.3 into 2.3 meter square per volt second and 0.01 meter square per volt second respectively, then semiconductor is, right, N type with resistivity this, P type with resistivity this. So basically, first of all, let's identify which type of semiconductor this is, either N type or P type. Okay. So if we see the concentration of electrons and holes, so the electron concentration is equal to, we are given that the electron concentration, that is N, is equal to 8 into 10 raised to power 18, and the hole concentration given to us is equals to 5 into 10 raised to power 18. Since N is greater than P, that means the majority of there are majority the electrons are there in this semiconductor. So we will say that this is basically acting as an N type semiconductor, right? So option may be either A or either C. Now we have to check for the resistivity. And we have already discussed that the resistivity is equal to 1 by conductivity. And we have also discussed that the conductivity for an N type is equal to N Q mu N, that is the electron concentration, charge of an electron, and the mobility of electron, right? So now if we put the values here, so the resistivity will be equal to 1 by, now the electron concentration, this is given to us as equal to 8 into 10 raised to power 18. Q, the charge of an electron, this is a constant value and it is equal to approximately 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19. And mu n, that is the mobility of an electron, this is given to us is equal to 2.3. If you solve this and simplify this, so this will come out to be and if we do the approximation, this will come out to be equal to 1.34 ohm meter. Therefore the answer to this question will be option A. Okay, so now let's move on to the next example. A heavy doped N type semiconductor has following data. Electron to hole mobility ratio is 0.4, doping concentration is 4.2 into 10 raised to power 8 atoms per meter cube, intrinsic concentration is 1.5 into 10 raised to power 4 atoms per meter cube. The ratio of conductance of N type to that of an intrinsic semiconductor for the same material is given by. We have to find the ratio of, we have to find the ratio of conductance of N type. What is the conductivity of N type? It is equals to NQ mu N to the intrinsic conductance. So the conductance of, what is the conductivity of an intrinsic semiconductor? This is equals to Q into N mu N plus P mu P, right? So we have to find this ratio. So first of all, let us simplify. We can cancel out this Q and Q, okay? And we are given the doping concentration, that is the N, intrinsic concentration, that is the Ni, okay? Also see one thing, for intrinsic case this N and P are equal and this is equal to Ni. So we can take this N and P outside, because for intrinsic case N is equals to P is equal to Ni. So we can take it out. So we are given Ni, we are given N, and we are also given the whole electron mobility, right? So this is given to us mu P whole by electron mobility. So mu P by mu N is given to us is equals to 0.4. So from here if we see, if we simplify this, so this ratio will be equal to N mu N divided by Ni mu N plus mu P. If we divide this mu by mu N, this will becomes N by Ni 1 plus mu P by mu N. Now if we put the value of N, Ni and mu P by mu N in this formula and simplify, this ratio will come out to be equal to around 20,000. 20,000. Right. So therefore the answer to this question will be option D. Okay, option D will be the correct answer for this question. Okay students, so in this part we have seen how the conductivity in metals as well as the semiconductor takes place. We have also seen how the conductivity changes depending upon the type of semiconductor, N type or P type. We have also seen about the diffusion current. The reason for the diffusion current in a semiconductor was due to the concentration gradient among the semiconductor material. In the next part, we are going to discuss breakdown in PN junction diode. So stay tuned with us.